warm welcome to everybody in today's webinar on achieving value proposition fit and business fit. Today, we are immensely pleased to have with us our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Professor Dr. Shaikat Moitro, guest speaker, Sri Sachin Thakkar. He is the founder and CEO of AAA Solutions Private Limited. We have with us our co-panelists, Dr. S. Dasgupta, Dr. Navarun Bhattacharya, and Dr. Devashish Dey will be soon joining. So, in the topic of today's webinar is very interesting, how the value proposition canvas can help achieve product market fit. Now, most of the time, all the Zazi products are coming to the market, but are not being able to stay there for long. Maybe for a month or two stays, but after that it disappears. A statistic says that more than 50,000 products are introduced every year in the country, and out of that, 90% of them cannot sustain. This proves that understanding customers' requirement is inadequate, and which is really very difficult. And we can, value proposition versus customer profile mapping is very important. What customer gives the products and services gives to his customer, what are the gains and pains of the customer has to be well understood to really design and develop your own product. So all these things we will listen from our panelists, from our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, guest speaker. And this session, I'm sure, will be very interesting for the entrepreneurs and startups. And with these few words, I'm requesting our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, to say a few words, and then we go back to our guest speaker, Mr. Sachin Thakkar. Sir, please.
Thank you very much. I'm extremely happy that today from Institute Innovation Shell a discussion will be made on a very interesting topic. This value proposition and business that is going to be very, very crucial and critical in making any business idea and any business activity sustainable. Today we will be listening from Mr. Sachin Thakkar, who has real-life experience and wisdom in this particular area. And I believe that all the participants, particularly our students community, will be immensely benefited, because we want to inculcate this culture of entrepreneurship and business mind amongst our students. And for this purpose, we would like to make our activities through all these activities of Institute Innovation Cell and Incubation Cell more strengthened with the networking with the different experts in the field of this real life business and professionalism, so that all these cultures can be transferred amongst these learning communities. It is now extremely important for all of us. We are now witnessing this downfall of our economy, and we would like to have numbers of entrepreneurs from our large education systems, from our professional education systems, because we from our university are focusing on imparting skill and knowledge in the area of engineering, technology, and different professional areas. And with the expectation that from these systems, we'll be able to develop a numbers of entrepreneurs who will be the leaders of business of tomorrow, and who will have the capability and expertise in making this entire situation more promising and more positive. We have Dr. Navarun Bhattacharya, this ex-director of CIRAC and presently director of information technology with us. Professor Dasgupta, director of engineering science, is there. Mr. Pradip Mukhopadhyay, who has also long years of experiences in industries. He will be here for sharing their opinions and for involving themselves in interaction with Mr. Sachin Thakkar. And I believe that all the participants, particular students, they will be raising their questions. They will be making their all this curiosity visible through our chat box and the question answer, these windows. And as usual, we give a slot where the participants get a chance to interact with these resource persons. So these programs, I believe, I wish it will be an extremely interesting, active, dynamic, and vibrant one. My sincerest thanks once again to Mr. Pradip Mukhopadhyay, Mr. Sachin Thakkar, Dr. Navaran Bhattacharya, and Professor Das Gupta, and my best wishes to all the participants for a very, very engaging learning sessions at today's webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your encouraging and valued perspective. I will now go back to Mr. Sachin Thakkar. Mr. Sachin is a commerce graduate from St. Xavier's College, Kolkata, and a PG BBA from IBS Hyderabad. Sachin has been instrumental in spearheading the company's operations and providing a strategic direction since its inception, leading to a phenomenal acceptance of its unique product and offerings amongst the companies. He pioneered the software solutions for retirement benefits fund industry in India. Under his leadership, the company has witnessed geographical expansion across major cities in India and also introduced leading-edge IT and support solutions for HR departments, including payroll and retirement benefit funds, finance and treasury departments of major companies, earning a reputation for the company over the years. Prior to his entrepreneurial journey, he had a stint in debt market with a leading investment banker. He is an active member of NASSCOM and has been instrumental in bringing together the industry and startup community on a common platform. Mr. Sachin, with these few words, I now hand over the sessions to you to, enlighten us about the topic. Mr. Sachin, please.
Yeah, namaskar and thank you, Mr. Mukhopadhyay and the professors. Namaskar and good evening to all my dear friends also. I once again thank you for inviting me for this session. I enjoyed my last session with you all. Today also, I hope we will all have an hour of discussion and we'll come out with some brilliant ideas, especially when the questions were asked. There were certain questions which were very pertinent, and the answers to those questions actually was the synopsis of our discussion. So with that hope, I'll start my presentation. I'm sharing my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Need to hide. Right. Today's topic for us is value proposition, fit, and business fit. The very fact that these topics have been chosen, it underlines the fact that it is of extreme importance. In fact, value proposition is something which is the essence and the very purpose of the existence of the business, which, if not addressed properly, it can lead to the death of the business. Okay. And perhaps that is the reason this topic has been chosen. Needless to say that the value proposition fit is a prerequisite for business fit. For the business to fit into the society, you need to have the value proposition in place. Only then can the business survive. Therefore, these two interesting topics, I have only a couple of slides where I'll just try to pinpoint certain important things, initiate your thoughts on those items. There are n number of material available on the net to actually read out on this, but my job today would be just to kickstart or initiate certain thoughts in your mind so that you can go to those literature, refer to that and try to find answers of these points. Now I'll directly come to our topic, ways to achieve value proposition fit. Just one minute. Now, as I mentioned, the value proposition of a business is arguably the most important element of your overall marketing message. A value proposition refers to the value a company promises to deliver to customers should they choose to buy their product. Okay. Now, as I'm a fan of 5 pointers. Why? Because it is easy to remember. If I am able to remember certain things on my finger, I'll actually be able to implement it rather than trying to remember 20, 30, 40 points. So therefore, in both these slides, this one and the next one, I've tried to bring out 5 key points which we should be thinking about when we think of value proposition, fit, and business fit. Okay. First and foremost is the design part. See, fit is very hard to find and maintain. Even if you find a fit today, it does not necessarily mean that tomorrow the same fit will continue. Therefore, you have to always keep striving to ensure that you get a value proposition fit. Now, to do that, it all starts with designing phase. In the designing phase, which is perhaps the most important in value proposition, because that involves a lot of research, R&D, and engaging your customer to actually understand what is their pain area, what is the value that you will add to the customers, how will the customer gain if he chooses your product over your competitor's product. So such research needs to go in. It is not a very light-hearted exercise or a casual exercise. Lot of effort, lot of budgeting happens on this particular exercise. Okay, a value proposition should be communicated to customers directly. So once the design is ready, you should communicate it to customers directly, not through via channels. It should be either on your company website or wherever the customers see your presence. It can be on your buildings, it can be on the advertisements, it can be on your websites. Okay, it should not be through any of your vendors. It should be, I repeat, it is a direct communication. Okay, and should have a strong, clear headline. Your value proposition could be a paragraph or a couple of paragraphs, but to attract attention of your customers, it should have a clear headline that communicates the delivered benefit to the customer. Okay, for example, Uber has a tagline or basically headline for the value proposition: the smartest way to get around. Okay, that sums up their value proposition. They might have a paragraph written on their website on how further or how this value proposition will be executed. Okay, but having a headline, a catch line to attract eyeballs is of utmost importance. Again, the headline should be a single memorable sentence, phrase, or even a tagline. It should be short, sweet, and easy to remember. That's the first part. And if I say 5 fingers, this it starts with the design and communication. Now, while you choose the channel of communication, where to advertise, what to advertise, etc., what exactly do you communicate in a value proposition? There are 3 points to this. One, what is the basic need that you are solving or you are catering to by providing this product? Number 1. Second, what is the added benefit or value addition you are doing if the product is being used by your customer? That's the second point. And the third one is that how are you better than your competitor? There are n number of products in the market who will solve a particular problem. Okay, but they may not add any value, or they may be equal to their competitor's product. right? So these 3 points in your communication should come out very well. The need, which is what Mr. Upadhyay also mentioned, the pain area. You need to relieve the pain of the customer. That's the need part. Then you need to ensure that apart from removing the pain, what further gain can you give to your customer? What further value addition can you give to your customer? And you need to look into the fact that is your competition not doing the same? Okay. Or if it is doing, how better are you in delivering those values to your customer? It should clearly explain how a product fills a need, communicate the specifics of its added benefit, and state the reason why it's better than similar products on the market. So that's the second part. First is design, and then communicating the need benefit competition part of it. We come to the third part. It should be persuasive. You see, it should be compelling. Your message, your value proposition message should be such that it should compel the customer to buy your product and not just remember it for the heck of it. Right? Resonate. Now, what happens till before this point? The first 3 points are mere promises. This fourth one is the most important point. Why? Because that is where you actually deliver. Ensure that whatever value is being proposed is also delivered. If that is not done, then that tantamounts to cheating. Therefore, ensure that on a regular basis, you do your checks and balances where you ensure that whatever value has been proposed is being delivered to the client. Take customer feedbacks on a regular basis to the extent that your value proposition will begin to truly resonate amongst your customer. And that will only come when you actually deliver the promise. The first 3 things look very attractive because it is easier to promise than to deliver. The fourth one is the toughest because you can promise the star and the moon, but on the ground, your delivery fails drastically. So please ensure that you deliver on what you promise. As you deliver what you promise, okay, you have almost reached the end of value proposition fit, which to an extent can also be called product market fit. Now, what happens in this product market fit? Product market fit describes a scenario in which a company's target customers are buying, using, and telling others about the company's product in numbers, not to 1 or 2 or 10, but large enough to sustain that product's growth and profitability. You understood? The customers will start marketing your product, and not in a minuscule way, but in a large scale manner, maybe unconsciously. Why? Because they want their friends, their family people to use this product. We have seen it has happened with us also. If I am happy with certain kind of pen, I will ensure that I tell it to my children, I tell it to my brothers, sisters, friends, that please look at this product. It is phenomenal. You see? So true value proposition fit can be achieved when you deliver, you promise something which adds value, you deliver on those promises, and it is delivered in such a manner that the customer buys your product, uses it, and also requests other people to buy your product. That's a big hit, I'm telling you. That kind of value proposition fit is a true hit. That is what all of us should be trying to achieve. Okay. I'll now come to the ways to achieve business fit. Now, this value proposition fit leads to business fit. So I would have actually, it would have sufficed if I would have just told you that, okay, if you are able to achieve this, then, and if you are able to maintain your finances, okay, scale your business fit, you've arrived at your business fit. But I would again like to visit certain other points which are prior to even value proposition fit. Because when you look at business fit, it is a holistic view. The whole of your business, right from the start till the end, till the profit making, all items are covered in your business fit. It is not just a success of your value proposition in a manner that you start making profit. No, at least I differ on that. I have a view here that what are the 5 points here again to make your business fit. See, we are talking right now, we are talking to prospective entrepreneurs. Maybe there are some students here who are already entrepreneurs, who have started their entrepreneurial journey, or maybe after passing out, they'll start. So it was important for me to bring this point here, that the personality, culture, and environment fit is something that you need to look at before you start anything. I'll give you an example. You have been born and brought up in, say, a city environment throughout your student life. And suddenly after your college is over, you suddenly start thinking of developing a product for the rural market where you've never stayed. You don't even know the people. You don't even know their culture. And it could be possible that if you go and stay there for 5 days in that rural environment, you may not even, like staying there. Why? Because you've been conditioned to stay in a city environment. This is just an example that I'm giving. Another example, you have never dealt with a corporate client. Okay. Suddenly you start thinking that I'll do something for a corporate. And then you start marketing your product into companies where you've never visited. You don't know what organization culture is, how companies function. That will be a misfit. So when you start your business or you choose a field to start your business, please ensure that your personality matches with the cultural and the environment in which you think you will run your business. That fit is essential, and that is the starting point. If it is not done at a later date, within few months, in fact, you will lose interest, your satisfaction level will go down. Okay. Then comes problem solution fit. We have heard this n number of times. Last time also when I discussed this was one of my points. You need to have a real solution for a real problem. That's the second point. Okay. That fit is of the essence, as Mr. Mukhopadhyay said. We have had number of studies where a lot of startups fail. In fact, 95% of them fail. Why? Because they want to do business. Why do they want to do business? They're happy doing it, but they have not ventured into what kind of problem will I be solving. They feel I can make a product. It looks good. I'm happy making this product. I'll take some funding and I'll make this product. It doesn't work like that. Identify a problem, and a problem should be of a real nature, not some whimsical problem, which is of temporary nature. Find a real problem, try to find a real solution to that problem. Whether that fit has happened or not is the second point which you should be considering. Okay. And this initiative has come from your entrepreneurship cell. So although we are talking of these two topics of value proposition fit and business fit, but these cannot be discussed in isolation. It has to be linked with other factors which lead to your starting the business, identifying your business with some kind of a problem, etc. That is the reason I am bringing these points out. The third part, value proposition and product market fit, which is what I discussed in the earlier slide. You might have found a real solution for a real problem, but how do you add value? How do you compete against your competitors? how can you make your customer feel good about using your product? That is something which you have to think of. And I'm telling you, this half an hour, 1 hour session is not enough for me to tell you a whole list of possibilities which you can do in your value proposition. You can refer to books, the articles available on this, but keep this when you do your business on a continuous basis. Keep these points in your mind, and not only at the time of starting your business, but you have to review it almost on a half yearly basis so that you are on track. Okay, so personality, culture fit, problem solution fit, value proposition, product market fit. Then we come to financial fit. Now, what is this financial fit? As we do all the above three, it should be financially viable. You should earn profit from the business. If you do not do that over a period, after a certain period, then you should rather shut down your business and look for some other opportunity. So financial fit here means that while you do all the above, it ensures that you are able to deliver a profitable venture out of the efforts that you have put. And how do you arrive at that? When you start your planning, etc., you have to think of three scenarios: the best scenario, the average scenario, and the worst scenario. Okay, forget about the best scenario. Always look at average scenario. In average scenario, how will you perform? Also look at the worst scenario, that if worst scenario happens, till how long will you be able to sustain your business? Okay, I repeat, three scenarios: best, average, and worst. Forget the best. Look at the average. Okay, calculate your financials based on the average scenario, but also do a calculation on if the worst scenario persists for 2, 3 years, 4 years, till how long will you be able to sustain your business? And therefore, this financial fit is of extreme importance. Last and not the least is a higher purpose fit. Please understand, in this entire universe, okay, you had a purpose when you were born. It's a fact. We do not know, that's a different thing. Or we take time to realize that, that is a different thing. But each one of us has certain purpose. Otherwise, we wouldn't have come to this earth at all. Therefore, when you start a business, that business will also have certain purpose. It will, of course, add value. It will, of course, earn profits. Okay, it will, of course, solve problems. But you have to look at a higher purpose fit. And what is that? That the mere fact that your business is in the economy or in the society is impacting many other section of people apart from your customers. It is your employees, it is the government, it is the vendors through which you buy your raw materials or your products. And you can also have a higher purpose. In fact, when I have always thought about this, that when we talk of value proposition, we only talk of value proposition for the customer. Why is that the case? Yes, customer should be in the forefront, but if I were to write a value proposition, I will write first for the customer, and then for my employees, then for my vendors, and then for the society around. How are we going? How is my product going to change the way people live in this earth? That question should always keep ringing in your mind. And you will see, when you run behind this higher purpose and try to bring a fit, I am telling you with some experience that all the other four on the top will follow that. Because there are businesses who will, we have seen that without a higher purpose, their financial bit of it, they've done well for a few years, and then they've gone into the eternity. Their existence itself is no more there. So to have a sustainable business, to have something which will add value not only to your customers, but your employees, the society around you, the vendors, okay? It could be the environment, it could be anything of this, this world, the nature, people around you, your friends, families, it could be anything. But my earnest request to all my young friends is that please do think about this higher purpose fit. Your business should serve something higher than what it looks to be serving. It will look that you sell this kind of a product, but you should come out with a statement. Okay, this product is going to change the life of so many people in a manner, okay, that they will be living a healthy life. Some kind of statement of this higher purpose, I feel, should be a part of your vision and mission. With that, I'll conclude my talk. My talk was brief today. The reason being, these 2 points were very specific, and there was no, I mean, there was not too many topics that I could discuss on this business fit and the value proposition fit. Why? Because it will only add to the confusion. If you remember these 5 points which I told you, and then further your study in this, I'm sure you'll gain a lot. So Mukhopadhyay, I am done with my presentation.
Thank you very much. If you just stop sharing, then we will invite some questions from our co-panelists,
Right.
and then we'll go to our students also, and we'll do the interactions on this. May I request Professor Dasgupta if he has any questions to
Yes,
ask?
thank you, Mr. Thakkar, for such a wonderful, and a very appropriate deliberation. And this is one thing which mostly people forget, and I mean young entrepreneurs. And I have one or two questions actually. One thing is how value proposition is linked with market survey. Okay, that is
can you
another is a comment that I believe see for I think training people on value proposition, we should have some kind of workshop, and young entrepreneurs, young or old even, they should go through it, and they should do the exercise how the value proposition can be written.
Correct.
And how, and because I believe it is an exercise which actually one can, I think, master after several trials.
Right.
That these are the two things which are coming into my mind. If you like.
Yeah. So your first question, which was about the market survey, you are absolutely spot on, Professor. That value proposition statements come from. I mentioned the R&D. Now, what is that R&D? One part of that R&D is the survey. The customer survey that you keep doing every month or every quarter, where you ask certain set of questions, 10 or 15 brief questions, okay, where and those are objective questions. So customers will give you that feedback in those answers. You have to analyze those answers on a repetitive basis, not for 1 or 2 months, because customers' choices and preferences may change over a period. So what result came in the month of June may not come in the month of December. Okay. So over a period of time, say 6 months or 1 year, when you do this customer survey, and then can you arrive at a final value proposition that you can actually provide, which is again subject to revision every 2 years, I'm sure, because if you don't look at that, the way things are moving, market is moving, things fast so change. My value proposition 2 years ago can stand null and void today. So you are all perfectly spot on that market survey is a very, very important tool. Now, in the market survey, I would just like to add one more thing, that if you have a very large customer base or large prospect, market survey is the way of doing it. But I would also suggest that if it is possible to go and, along with the survey, if it is possible to go and talk to the customer, okay, have an interaction, have a one-on-one, and it can also be the second part, what you mentioned about sessions. I would like to have the entrepreneurs have a session with their customers. So say they invite 10 or 20 customers and discuss their requirements. Okay, that is another way of gathering feedback and trying to build upon the value proposition. And I think the second point that you mentioned was with the customer, or was it with the within the entrepreneurs?
Within the entrepreneurs.
Within entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneurs, because
Yes,
they
yes.
should, unless do the exercise, I think
Right.
they won't be able to realize just by listening.
True. You're very true.
And have
Because
a workshop kind of thing.
yes, it requires a very specific workshop. And at times when we talk of value proposition, everyone talks of that problem and solution fit, and not the gain part. They only talk of relieving the pain.
Yes.
That is the value that they are adding, but that's not the case. So you are also right that we need more workshops on actually identifying how to arrive at value proposition statements.
Yes, I have another, because your explanation has triggered one more question.
Yes,
That is,
please.
in market survey, many a times we have seen that the market survey failed actually.
Right.
I mean, but many, I think, pioneering, equipment, okay, when those were introduced. Even what you said regarding talking to customers individually, when Akio talked to customers, I think in USA,
Yes.
almost door to door, regarding introducing pocket transistor, nobody could understand. Okay, but when it was introduced, it was another success. Okay, so that is something very interesting. That in our doing market survey, is there any need? I think need of improvement in our methodology. What you feel that?
Yes. Yes. See, market survey itself is a different subject. In the management studies, you would have, yourself observed that either it is a different subject or certain chapters are allotted to market survey. Because the way you do your survey, first of all, you need to identify what information do you want to gather from this survey. Okay, and then you prepare a survey. Because if you don't know the purpose of the survey, then the questions will be very general. So, of course, again, the survey questions cannot come from ordinary people. You need to be a little bit of psychology goes into these survey questions.
Yes, absolutely correct.
People, yes, specialized people, keeping in mind all kinds of your customers or their background they come from, they develop these surveys. Unfortunately, you're right that in most of the cases, this survey becomes a routine thing. And
routine thing, yes, absolutely.
But when it is led by the leadership team, you will see there is a difference in these two surveys. When it is led by the leadership team to arrive at this value proposition, it will have a different kind of surveys. And the surveys that we are talking about are the routine ones where we keep sending it every now and then just as a feedback and as a process of ISO. To maintain processes, we have to keep doing that.
Yes, that's right.
Actually,
I think market survey questionnaires are not so stringent as behavioral science or psychology questionnaires.
Right.
So that is might be one of the maybe one of the main reasons why things leak out.
Correct. I agree.
Thank you, Professor Dasgupta, for your very pertinent questions and the responses we received from Mr. Sachin. May I now request Professor Navarun Bhattacharya if he has any questions to ask Sachin?
Or rather add rather than asking questions.
Yeah,
a number of things to add.
Actually, it has been a very nice and very brief presentation by Sachin, driving home the points. They are very crucial for entrepreneurships, businesses. Just I have only one or two comments to make.
Yes,
like, as you tried to point out that business, entrepreneurs, value proposition, business fit, the parameters to be looked at. I think that is quite applicable to the education sector as well as R&D sector also, because in especially global scenario as well as in Indian scenario. Take the R&D spectrum. Their R&D labs are there and big academic institutions are there. And there are second or third tier academic institutes are there. They are trying to do, the faculties there or scientists in R&D organization, they are trying to do a lot of research and development, which is actually very few percentages culminating into a product and redeeming to commercialization. So it's not happening because when the project proposal ideation phase, conceptualization phase, these value proposition parameters are not looked at all. Actually, many a time in the academic domain, especially, people just go with their own intuition without looking at the market, without going at the value proposition, whether the research that we are entering into, be it basic research, be it development, be it application-oriented research, the value proposition before entering into the theme of research should be a due diligence and a proper exercise are mandatory. But unfortunately, in our country, it doesn't happen. So all our academic research end with some publications, but really they don't redeem into the usable products for the society. As you rightly pointed out, whatever we do, academicians, R&D scientists, or the entrepreneurs, all should try to deliver something for the society at large. So that's not happening because this value proposition is not looked at. Also in the education sector, education also is a kind of entrepreneurship, imparting education, optimum appropriate education. And many times we see that many educational institutes also fail in the private domain. So this value proposition has not been really looked into with proper care. So your talk has been really, it has really summarized the parameters, what should be looked at before entering into not only business, but also research and development and initiatives in the education sector, new initiatives in the education sector. That only I wanted to add. And it has been a wonderful talk, and we'll try to keep this 5 parameters in mind, and all the students should try to keep these 5 parameters in mind while entering into anything in terms of research, academic persuasion, or in the entrepreneurship domain. That is what I wanted to comment, Sachin.
A very good point, because I was primarily talking on the business part.
Yeah.
You brought out this part where even in academics, the R&D is done or initiated, not just for the heck of it or for the joy of doing a research.
Exactly.
Starts with a certain purpose that, okay, if I do this and if I come up with some solution, this solution is going to help certain sections of the society.
Exactly.
To be converted into a commercial product, etc., can come little later, but there is a need, and therefore I should search in this. For sure, is going to change the. I mean, there will be a.
See, many a time it happens that scientists in our country, especially or even globally, I've seen many places there, we first try to develop a key and then look for a lock. Right. So it should be, this business proposition should be considered properly, so that there has to be a lock and key fit in the business domain or in the R&D domain or in the education domain. So that it's not that only key we should develop. We should have a lock also for that.
And that is where
it should be the lock first and then try to develop the key.
Correct. And that is where the fit comes.
Yes, exactly.
Fit part comes there.
Fit part comes there. So that is what it's a good synopsis and reminding of all that everybody should go in this way in any of the activities we take up in entrepreneurship, education, or research.
And one more point I want to add.
Yes.
If we hammer across this point of value proposition, okay, which unfortunately has not been even discussed in lot of entrepreneurship talks. Okay, the discussion always was limited to a problem and a solution. So if entrepreneurs at least start thinking on the value proposition, the solutioning part will come automatically, because you are looking at it at a higher goal and
Yeah.
not a goal.
Yeah, correct.
It's a
Correct.
very, I mean, for us also, or for me also, it's a learning point. Discussion. Every discussion that I have, so this is a takeaway for me.
Okay.
This is an important thing, how it can help academia also.
Yeah. Okay, Mukhapadhyay sir.
Thank you very much for your very interesting interactions with our guest speaker. I'm sure that our students and budding entrepreneurs are definitely getting benefited from this discussion. I have few questions, but before questions or something to get clarified, before that, I would request Dr. Devashish Dey if he has anything to interact with our guest speaker. Dr. Devashish Dey, if you have something to interact with our guest speaker, please. Dr. Devashish, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes. Thank you for the nice presentation. I really enjoyed this session, and I hope that we'll have a future interaction physically, because then we can more and more.
Devashish, your voice is breaking.
Signal is low. Signal is little low. Yeah.
Okay. In that case, let me, place certain things before Mr. Thakkar. Market survey and other studies, etc., are the basic necessity we understand. But in this fast-paced world, where there is technological disruptions happening, the buying philosophy is changing, all are in fast paced, that social texture of human being that is changing. So today what is evolving out of market research, and with that research, if you try to bring out the product, by then you will see either that product exists already or the customer expectation has moved out from there. So these challenges, because now whatever is happening on the western part of the world is next day flowing to the easternmost part of the world. So if anything is happening over there, immediately, maybe in a month or so, that thing is coming over this side. So under such situation, what would be your suggestion? What would be your comments on how do the budding entrepreneurs would really take over this? You have to unmute, Mr. Thakkar. You have to unmute.
Sorry. Yeah. Let me put it very bluntly. That this R&D, etc. talks that we usually do, okay, may befit a very large organization where they have a money power to conduct these surveys over a longer period, okay. But for budding entrepreneurs, of course, survey of a different kind can be done, but the most important survey is on the ground, and this survey is to be done by the entrepreneur or the top leadership team of that entrepreneurship venture. How they have to get onto the ground on a daily basis. They cannot, even if they are successful in the first year, second year, they cannot afford to sit in a plush office and then they might have developed a team of 100, 200 people and get things done through those 100. Let the day-to-day operations be done by their team members. But to gather this feedback, and this is from my experience, I am saying that you have to be on the ground, talking to the client, engaging with the client in various ways, so that you know the changes that are happening around. You don't suddenly get up one morning and you say things have, you see that things have completely changed. So the way forward for the entrepreneurs is to be in touch with their customers, of course, keeping update of the daily news items and updates that are happening. That goes without saying, that most of the entrepreneurs do. But I have seen entrepreneurs, mostly technical entrepreneurs, not getting in touch with their customers because they are busy developing a product which has tasted a certain success, and therefore that success has given them a kick to develop it more. And so they'll put themselves into a room with their team members, try to develop it further. But that is where they lose touch with their customers. So my alternate to these surveys and R&D, okay, would be ground level interaction with the clients. And at a certain point of time, the entrepreneur, half a day, he should be spending only interacting with the clients or his leadership team. And that input or feedback that is gathered should be the basis of any decision that they take on the value proposition or on the way they are running the business.
If I have understood, means
Yes.
you mean to say that let the startup entrepreneur start with a minimum viable product, and they should continuously keep on sensing the customer's requirement, varying customers' requirement, buying patterns, and everything, whatever is happening all over the world. And accordingly, they should keep on modifying their products or developing new products on that.
Absolutely.
Is that you suggest?
Yes, absolutely. You pick that word of that MVP, minimum viable product. Okay, if they don't reach that stage, then this balancing of value proposition fit and business fit will never happen. Because if they focus on the value proposition, which we have been talking for some time, and they keep taking feedback from the customers may want 100 things. Okay, and all the 100 things are actually important or adding value. It is the entrepreneur who will decide that, okay, I cannot give all the 100 items at one go because that has some cost. So what is the minimum viable product that I can come up with, which at least addresses 5 items out of the 100 items that the customers have pointed, and then going forward continuously interacts with the customers to ensure that they are not deviating from the chosen path.
Right.
So that is, Mr. Mukhopadhyay, you brought out a very good point, that this balance, when we say this value proposition fit and business fit, no, it should not be looked at independently. Both are together, and it is impossible to satisfy all the customers' requirement or the added values that they think the product is going to add or should add. So therefore, an entrepreneur has to strike the right balance between the value propositions that he can offer vis-a-vis the money that he'll earn.
Some rationalization has to be done, because if we go to say 10 different customers and understand their requirement, it might be seen that some customer is giving 20 points, some customer is giving 15. So out of that, the highest common factor can be taken, and with that product we can start, and rest of the thing we can customize for that specific customer, and not as a general thing, because the cost factor will be very high in that case.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Dr. Dasgupta, if you have
one or two questions from the audience, I think.
Yes, we will take. We have received 2 questions. One is from Kuntal Maiti. Kuntal Maiti is from Computer Science and Engineering Department. He is asking, sir, I want to start a business. I want to know in detail how I can start my business and how I can turn it into a profitable business. I need a mentor who will show me the right way. Mr. Sachin, what would be your reaction?
See, it is good that you want to start a business, but my suggestion again would be to identify a problem area where you would like to work or which you would like to address. Okay, then don't start with that I want to start a business. Then there are n number of things that you can do. You can buy some biscuits and sell it in a different market. You can trade in sofas. It's very easy, I'm telling you. There are n number of people. You can actually identify that this is a market from where I can buy and this is a market where I'll sell. It is not very difficult. But in these days, that is not the kind of business that we are looking for. There are enough traders in the market. Okay, what we are looking for is somebody who can add value to the ecosystem. Somebody is buying a sofa from one place, selling it at the other. Yes, there is some value addition, but there are hundreds of people already doing it. Okay, so if you still want to do business, then you don't even need my suggestion or a mentor. There are n number of items that you can deal with. But my point is that look at things around you. Look at the problems that people are facing and think on that can I solve this? Can I think of a product or a service which will help relieve this pain for a certain set of customers? Then you have to think whether those customers are only 5 or 10 students or 5 or 10 people that you came across, or it is a large section of the society. Okay, then will come that, okay, if this is a problem and there are large people who are facing this problem, and if I bring the solution out of my thinking or out of my innovativeness, then the thought process will go to the next level that, okay, if I do that, I need a team, or can I do it alone? If I need a team, I need some funds. Who is going to fund me? Right? Start with the right item. I request I think there are some 80 plus students here with us. I request all of them. And this is not philosophy. Please, this is not philosophy. If you try to start something with the intention that how can I help this person, you will see the answers of your questions will come automatically. But if you start with the thought process, I want to do business because I know businessmen are very rich, I want to be very rich, I'm sorry to say, you will not go too far. So I'm not discouraging you from starting a business. What I'm trying to say is think of a problem around you. And then, as we discussed in today's webinar, that not only the problem, once you have found a solution to the problem, think how can you add value to that customer apart from solving his critical problem. Then your business will prosper. And can I come to the next question?
Yes, the next question is from Shomodeep Dana.
Right.
He's asking that how can I become an entrepreneur? Say, right. Simple question.
Right. Very, very pertinent question and simple question, of course, but I'll try to put it in a different manner. You are already an entrepreneur. For me, an entrepreneur is someone who takes uddog. Uddog, when we say udyog, right? If you have helped organize a tournament in your school, if you have helped an old lady cross a road, okay, you are already an entrepreneur. You may laugh at my suggestion, but what I am trying to say is that the most important feature of an entrepreneur is that he can take initiatives on his own. He doesn't need to be pushed. He will take initiatives on his own because his mind says that ekhane amar kichu kora uchit, yahan pe mujhe kuch karna chahiye. I can play a role here. I can play a part here. That is the first step towards entrepreneurship. So think of all the instances, Shomodeep, that you have done in your school days, college days, where such kind of, maybe organizing a Saraswati Puja, you are part of it. Organizing a football tournament, organizing a music concert. I'm sure in everybody's life that is there, maybe little or more. If you catch that, And if you think on that very strongly, যে আমি যদি ওটা তখন করতে পেরেছিলাম তাহলে আজকে আমি এটা অন্য কোনো জিনিস করতে পারবো না কেন, that will give you courage, because entrepreneurs first characteristics is to take initiative. Okay, so my answer again more detailed would be that start taking small initiatives in your life, even today, even if it is not profitable. Choto initiatives if you take, you will see automatically that entrepreneurial this in you will flower. And then when you come up with some kind of a problem area around, then it will click. আরে এটা তো আমি করতে পারবো, হ্যাঁ 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 আমি জানি ওই ছেলেটা এটা খুব ভালো করে, ওকে আমি ধরে আমি একটু কন্ট্রিবিউট করে I'll make something out of this, make the customer who is facing that problem use this and give me a feedback, দেখি তো হয় কি না. And see such experiments you can do while you are in college also. Your college encourages entrepreneurship. When you are an entrepreneur, you give jobs to so many people. Therefore, being an entrepreneur is a very good thing, very, very good thing. Even if the thought has come into your mind, it is fantastic. But start with small initiative. That is my only suggestion. And then for sure you will come across a problem area which you will be able to solve. And then, sir, I can see the next question. Can I answer that?
No, before we take the next question, I can
Right.
see Jaya Bandapadhyay. I do not know she is Dr. Jaya Bandapadhyay of our biotechnology department or not. She has
Okay.
raised hand.
Okay.
Can I take her questions?
Yes, please. Yes.
Prem?
Hello.
Hello, please.
Yeah. Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes,
madam.
you are.
Yes, sir. Yes, this is Joya
Dr.
Bandopadhyay.
Bandopadhyay.
Yes, from the university. A very good evening to all, and of course, I'm really illuminated, I should rather say, from Sachin Thakur's lecture today. So he really struck this into my mind that this webinar, though it's going to be a very short one, I think it is not short anymore, though he had only 4 to 5 slides, and he just mentioned that there would be 5 pointers onto which he's going to talk today. And he rightfully pointed out that it's going to be a kind of a session that is going to give a kickstart to all the entrepreneurs for thinking, at least to think about it. Now, I do not know whether I will be able to get into this field, though I'm an academician and I really want to delve into these problems. So to Mr. Thakkar, I have two observations, 2 questions, whatever way you can say it. First of all, when somebody is actually wanting to be an entrepreneur and wanting to really work on a particular problem that you have really pointed out correctly, that the problem has to be identified very, very clearly in the beginning. Then we go for a market survey, take data, then and not just jump in and start business, because that will not yield us far. Right. So in your experience, pardon me for my ignorance, but in your experience, how much time should one actually impart in this first part of getting into a business? Means the questions, the market survey, the people, the societal, means all the questionnaires, how far should one move? Means not only keeping to the local geographical region, means just around the city, or should it go across the state? Should it go even across, not international, because I should not go over there because it is a very local problem. How far one should go, and how, as you also pointed out, that one should actually move to the mass, not just sit in an AC room and work, should go into to the mass and reach out to the mass. So if one is reaching out to the mass, that that would work physically, definitely. But considering if you want to move out of the state, that can we do it digitally and get opinions? Means, when you're moving out, there might be a little different problem, but that can actually increase or enrich the different parameters which I never thought before. And I can work on that problem and then think the problem should be identified first. Of course, I have not thought about any problem. It is a problem that has to be identified first. And then when we are going for the market survey, how far we can reach out? Should we only focus onto our area? And how much time does it take? And how much time we should impart? That is the first question. You can answer that, then I will move on to the next one.
Yes, okay. See, it's a good question, because you can spend 1 month also, 6 months also, or even 2 years, and you still don't come to a conclusion. Simple answer to this is that if within 1 to 3 months, if you are not able to arrive that whether it is a real problem or not, okay, what apparently looked like a problem when you went to do a survey or interact with the prospects, you saw that, okay, it can be done away with, or it is a very trivial problem for them. Then, I mean, that should help you to decide that, because it is trivial, he would not be willing to pay for it. Therefore, drop it. And within this 1 to 3 months is more or less enough to do a sample survey for you to know whether it is going to work or not.
Yes.
1 to 3 months can go up to 6 months. Okay. Again, it is, I should not be putting any timeline to this, because if this is all about conviction, if somebody is convinced that yes, because see, I'll put it very, again, bluntly, don't take me wrong, all the students, it is a lot of gut feeling goes into when you do this, when you do entrepreneurial plunge, lot of gut feeling goes. You see something and then you analyze the data, you join the dots, and you feel that I'll be able to do it.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
It's just like if you're playing football, there are 3-4 people attacking you. You are taking the ball, and you know that you will be able to cross them. Conviction, confidence that okay, I'll be able to cross it. So maybe I mixed or gave a little wrong example here. But my point that I wanted to tell you is that along with the market survey, gut feeling should also work.
Yes. Sure.
With the facts and figures.
Right.
And 1 to 6 months, max to max, should be enough for you to give an idea. Yes, I don't want to discourage people who want to spend 1 year, 2 year also, because they feel that no, I have not come across the right person who can give me feedback, because I am in Kolkata. I can only take feedback from local people, but I know this problem exists in Mumbai or Delhi. Okay. So waterlogging problem is there in say Mumbai, but because I am sitting here in Kolkata, so I am saying he then needs to move to the local area where he wants to provide those services.
Right. I have there is one example, the real life example, and I want your candid comment on it. And that is, you see all these cab services we have, right? And we have this Ola, Uber, and there are so many more. And this is a new one, the InDrive or InDriver, something of that sort, where you are actually you are setting your price for the trip. Now over there, like now, such company where they are trying to cater to the mass, because the other cab companies are charging so high these fares, so someone is charging less. Now, this can also happen in business. This is also a kind of a startup which a company must have done, and they are doing pretty well. But considering the fact that they are actually charging lesser than the others, so does this kind of a philosophy, do they actually put challenges into the latter one? And then finally they might be washed away, and again Ola and Uber will be there in the limelight. So this approach, was it right or not? So we can also think of such approaches later on.
Two things. two things here. First of all, if you remember, even Uber, Ola gave the kind of prices 4, 5, 6 years ago to allure us to get hooked to those their services. If you remember,
Yes, yes.
we had stopped. We were so glad for the first 2 years.
Mhm.
अरे वो काला पीला टैक्सी में अब जाने का ही नहीं.
Exactly.
We have to. There is a AC car and comfortable. We click of a button, they come to our door. Okay, but see what happens, and that is what my second point is linked to this. And I'm not talking against anyone, but what is certain startups, they attract the eyeballs of their investors, and they are big investors. Okay, when because they have deep pockets, the big investors, they ensure that the prices are given at a throwaway. Prices are offered at a throwaway price. Okay, that's a strategy to basically hook people or get people attracted to their services. And honestly, we have all felt in the last 3, 4 years all tantrums that we see from Ola, Uber, not coming, canceling the trip. Charges have skyrocketed. For an item which I paid 50 rupees, I have to now pay 700 rupees. Okay, the logic is not known to us that why at certain point of time it is 700 and the same trip is costing me 300 at a different point of time. You see, so another one might have added in the bandwagon. Okay,
yes.
to everyone. Okay, but since there is this issue, I think individually when we are into a market, how much does our pocket allow? And entrepreneur cannot think of doing this. Yes, what he can do, because his cost is less, he can reduce the price and offer it to the prospective customers initially.
Like at least must reach the break-even point, and then go forward and take it forward, right?
Yeah, but I again beg pardon from everyone, but in that case, Ola, Uber is not the sample that we should be following. Why? Because here, when we are talking of entrepreneur, it is me and the other, other students who will get into this. Okay, Uber and Ola, although looks like a startup, it is being backed by very deep pockets, and they have a capability of reducing the price for 5 years, 6 years, which for an entrepreneur, it is out of question. And I am a bootstrapped entrepreneur. Therefore, I have my biases, putting it in inverted commas. I don't like taking finances and then the investor selling the firm to somebody else. The next investor again buying it at 5 crore, 10 crore, selling it at 50 crore. In such case, what happens is the focus on the delivery is less. The investor is always focused on making money. Where's the value proposition then? You have seen a lot of value proposition. If we take Uber's value proposition, the smartest way to get around, do you think today it is the smartest way to get around? No.
Yeah.
Because we have all suffered from Uber, Ola now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, sorry for those bold.
No. Actually, I was trying to kind of make a comparison, build a comparison. Like that is also a business proposition coming up, and we will also have to think in those terms. So, what I understand from all this the lecture and the deliberation that you had today, it is first of all we have to decide on what we are going to work with, and building up a team on which we can trust and we can really have confidence. That is the first part and the first challenge, and then we can really move ahead with our plans. Really, thank you. Sorry, I should not, I don't know whether my questions were relevant or not, but it just struck me out of the way, and I just wanted to get it clear. So thank you, Sachin. Thank you.
All the questions are relevant.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Jayawardhabhai, for your useful interactions and the views given by our guest speaker, Sachin Thakkar. In fact, whatever questions our students are unable to do, probably you have done some of them and they have been benefited out of this. We have two more questions lying with us. One is from Povitro Apat. He is asking, I want to know more about higher purpose fit. Mr. Sachin, can you enlighten us?
Right. Pavitra, higher purpose is something which is not visible in your business directly. It is like, let's say, let's take a very basic example that I want to start a shop for selling vegetables. Okay. Now, a lot of people sell vegetables. No, I will deliver it at their home. Okay. That also a lot of people are doing. Okay. Because my behavior, my people who will handle the shop and the delivery are very good. So therefore, people prefer my shop. Okay. So I have identified, and I am doing it in an area where there are not many shops. There are problems people face in fetching the vegetables and fruits. So I have put up a shop. It is doing well. I have tried to identify the problem. Problem, and tried to find a solution to that. And I have done it over 2 years, 3 years successfully. Now, what is a higher purpose? The higher purpose here should be, I'm just giving an example so that তুমি ওটা বুঝতে পারবে, and প্রত্যেকটা এর আলাদা আলাদা higher purpose হতে পারে. One is that I will increase that shop from a 100 square feet to a 1,000 square feet shop so that I can engage or I can employ 20 more people. I have taken up this venture in a town area or in a village area, and I see a lot of young people without job loitering around here and there. So I have a feeling that if I increase my shop's size from 100 to 1,000, I will be able to employ them for some productive purpose. My business will also grow, but they will also get job. My point, let me put it, although I may not be fully successful in stating that, but যেটা আমি বলতে চাই যে আমার যদি মাথায় থাকে না ওদের জব দিতে হবে, এবার সেটা থাকে না ম্যাক্সিমাম লোকের। ম্যাক্সিমাম লোক নিজের প্রফিট, নিজের এক্সপেনশন আগে ভাবে, আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে লোক লাগবে, ঠিক আছে এবার লোক নাও। বাট আই এম ট্রাইং টু ম্যারি মাই রিকোয়ারমেন্ট উইথ আ গুড পারপাস। ওকে, that is one higher purpose that I can think of. The second is I have known that my competitors use, if I may use that word, bhejal vegetables and bhejal fruits to sell, because ওখানে খুব কম fruit sellers, vegetable sellers আছে, ওটা বিক্রি হয়ে যায়। But I will pick up my vegetable and fruits from the farmers, okay, where they don't use pesticides.
Organic vegetables.
Yes, I will ensure that এটা যেন যে আমার সবজি খাবে সে যেন হেলদি থাকে, তাকে যেন ওই পেস্টিসাইডস এফেক্ট না করে। This is a higher purpose that I am trying to address with the same resources, same people, same set of or the model. You see, তো এটা আমি just দুটো এক্সাম্পল দিলাম। গরুর দুধ বেচি, I am selling cow's milk, but I will not take it from khatal where they put injections, forcefully milk the cow and sell that milk, because that milk is not beneficial to the people who have it. I'll go, if I have a small village, there are 30-40 households, each one has 1 or 2 cow. I will collect milk from them and then sell it to the market. You see, marrying these higher purpose will give you a tremendous drive. আমি সবাইকে বলছি with a firm conviction that if you think of a higher purpose and about others before you think about yourself, your venture is bound to succeed.
Connecting with values and ethics. Business, yes. Connecting with values and ethics.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. Let's take the another question where again Kuntal Maiti is asking, how can I make a market fit product? That means, how do I know if the product I made is right for my customer? Am I able to give my customers the right value? And how do I know if it will fit in the market, and how do I improve my product service?
Right. Yes, Kuntal, very good question. Let me tell you one example. There was a operating system, Microsoft XP. I'm sure all of you would be aware, or new students may not be aware also. Some few years back, that Microsoft XP, Microsoft stopped supporting that
XP.
XP because it was out of out of support period. Believe me, তখনও তার মধ্যে বাগ ছিল। Microsoft XP, which ran for 15-18 years in the market, captured the entire market. I have used it for 10-12 years. It had the bug. It had some bugs on the date they were expiring that operating system.
And in spite of that, many people used to love XP.
Yes, yes. So
having higher version also, many people used to love XP.
Correct. But as Mr. Mukhopadhyay, I remember, because we have a tech team and they know all these things. There were bugs in the last day of that operating system also. So my point that I was trying to make is that Mr. Mukhopadhyay referred to minimum value proposition, okay, or minimum viable product, okay. That has to be developed. So it is not a straight answer there. You have to develop a product, give a taste of it to some users, take a feedback, okay. In a very ordinary sense, বাড়িতে যখন মায়েরা রান্না করে, একটু হয়তো একটা ছোট্ট কৌটোতে একটা দেয়, দেখ তো ঠিক হয়েছে, নুন ঠিক হয়েছে, মিষ্টি ঠিক হয়েছে। ইটস আ ভেরি র এক্সাম্পল, বাট ওইটাই করতে হবে, একটু লার্জার স্কেলে করতে হয়। You have to give some free samples to your customers and take a feedback from them. So it's a difficult path, no doubt, but it starts like that. And what was your next point? Just 1 minute. Market fit product na ekটু পরে আসবে. Initially, what you need to see is only that whether it is solving a problem or not. Honestly, that is the only thing that you would be able to see initially. তো সেটা হচ্ছে কিনা কুন্তল আগে কনফার্ম করতে হবে। সেটা যদি হয়, you sell at maybe a little lower price, then build some more products, sell, build করে you will see you will grow a little bit. Then you try to add value proposition টা then you have to come up with. Of course, এটা করতে গেলে you will have to look around যে কোনো competition কি already আছে, already কি এরকম প্রোডাক্ট চলছে, যদি চলছে তাহলে আমার স্কোপটা কতটা থাকে। All these things have to be analyzed. Okay, our right value, it's a ওটাকে price discovery বলে। When you interact with your customer, when you engage with them, give them product and you see how much they are willing to pay, সেইভাবেই কিন্তু price discover হয় along with the cost that you are incurring. So খালি cost না, but তোমাকে দেখতে হবে how much a person is willing to pay. And ও যদি 10 টাকা করে per product দেয়, তাহলে আমার কতটা কাস্টমার লাগবে, so that আমার যে minimum cost of production that I can recover.
Thank you, Mr. Sachin. Because of the timing limitations, we'll have to, all good things come to an end at some point of time. Like last time also, we had to come off topic. This time also, we are doing the same thing, although a lot of questions, a lot of queries are there, a lot of interaction people would love to have with you. But because of, time limitations, we are thinking of closing. I would like to really express my sincerest thanks to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, who has been the constant encouragement behind all these activities to promote innovation and incubations. And thanks to Mr. Sachin, who had always been, sharing his knowledge, experience with us. Whenever we have called him, whenever we have asked him to address us, he has always been accepting and has been very kind to us. And we are very happy that we have a very, prominent support from him. And thanks to our co-panelists, Dr. Dasgupta, Dr. Navarun Bhattacharya, and Dr. Devashish Dey, and also, conveying my sincerest thanks to all the participants for attending in this Saturday afternoon. I'm sure they would immensely be benefited from these discussions, from these deliberations. And last but not the least, our IT team, Mr. Prem Kumar, who has been very wonderful always, like, I mean, previous times. So today, with the permission of our Honorable Vice Chancellor, I would like to draw a close to this session and would look forward to similar session in a very short time period of time. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you.